Welcome to the It Factor, where Jemmy and I exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML, a managed service provider in Queens, NY, offering network management, voice over IP, and unified communications as a service, which we'll call VoIP and UCaaS, cybersecurity compliance, infrastructure as a service, cloud solutions, and Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you. Today, we are focusing on a topic that sits right at the heart of your company's digital identity, and it's a critical control point many of us just forget about. We are analyzing Mr. Kaplan's article, When You Give Away Your DNS, How Third-Party Control Opens the Door to Infrastructure-Level Phishing.
It's a really eye-opening piece because it hits on a fundamental convenience trap. But before we dive into the sophisticated threats, we probably need to frame the discussion around what DNS even is.
Exactly. If you're running a business, you know your domain name, right? Your company.com.
Of course.
But how does the internet actually know where to send traffic for that name? Well, that's the job of the domain name system, or DNS.
Think of it as the internet's address book.
Right. You type a name, and DNS looks up the specific numerical address, the IP address of the server that hosts your website, your email, all your cloud apps.
And that definition leads directly to Mr. Kaplan's core insight. For most small businesses, when you launch a new website, the developer or the marketing agency says,
"Oh, just let us handle the DNS records."
Exactly. It's technical, it's annoying, we'll save you the hassle, it feels harmless, it saves time and complexity.
It's convenience in a box. But that's a classic friction point security versus convenience. When we outsource, we're trusting that vendor implicitly.
We are. And the article suggests we might be trading one complexity for a much larger, invisible risk.
So what's the real danger here?
Well, the article stresses that DNS management isn't just a technical detail. It is the ultimate point of control over your entire digital presence. Whoever holds the keys to your DNS records controls where your website points.
Okay, that makes sense.
But more importantly, they control your mail exchange records, your MX records.
Ah, the MX records. So that's the record that tells the world, send all my company's email to this server.
That's the one. If an attacker gets access to your DNS, they can quietly modify your MX records. They can intercept your company's internal email before it even reaches you.
Wow.
Imagine the damage. They can read communications, reset passwords, launch even more effective phishing attacks that look like they're coming straight from your CEO.
So DNS access isn't just about defacing your website. It potentially compromises every single digital channel you use.
It elevates the threat level significantly. Okay, so let's unpack this, because the article highlights a really crucial shift in how bad actors operate today.
We are moving way beyond the amateur hour of traditional phishing, right?
Serious.
Those poorly written messages, the obviously fake domains.
That era is, for all intents and purposes, over. What's fascinating here is how sophisticated modern threat actors have become. They've realized that end-user training, telling people not to click suspicious links, it's getting more effective.
So they shifted their focus.
They shifted to infrastructure. They aren't trying to trick you with misspelled words anymore. They're building what the article calls bad infrastructure.
Bad infrastructure.
It's a complex, multi-layered attack path that hides entirely inside legitimate, trusted platforms. The whole point is to completely avoid standard security filtering.
Wait, so the threat isn't just about tricking users. It's about weaponizing the very infrastructure we depend on. How do these attacks actually work?
Well, it's brilliant and insidious. The research cited in the post from Alpha Mountain AI and Palo Alto Networks, it outlines this new attack chain. A typical attack starts with a professional-looking email.
Great.
The link inside doesn't point to a suspicious domain. Not at all. It links to a domain owned by a legitimate marketing service, like HubSpot, something with a fantastic reputation score.
So the email filter checks the link, sees a trusted marketing domain, and just gives it a pass.
Exactly. But then that marketing domain redirects the user to a trusted cloud storage bucket, infrastructure from Amazon S3 or Cloudflare R2.
Platforms that every major business relies on.
Right. Only after that second or third trusted hop does the user finally land on the actual credential harvesting site.
That is genuinely alarming. The security system is verifying the first two hops, and they're perfectly legitimate. It creates a total illusion of safety.
And that's why DNS is now the prime target. In this cloud-driven environment, the weakest link is often the third party holding your DNS credentials.
The marketing agency, the freelance developer who built your site 5 years ago.
Exactly. Their system is your new weakest link. The attacker targets them, the easy mark. a compromised API key, an old reused password on the vendor's side. That could be all it takes.
And once they're in, they can alter your DNS records.
And that action is invisible to you, but it instantly redirects all your traffic, your email, your website, wherever the criminal wants it to go. This is infrastructure exploitation at its purest.
And the article points to this rising threat of subdomain hijacking. It sounds technical, but it stems from something called a dangling DNS entry.
This is a scenario that small businesses are so vulnerable to. A dangling DNS entry is basically a digital remnant, a ghost of a past vendor relationship that was never cleaned up.
What do you mean?
Many businesses use something called CNA records, a canonical name record. It just maps an alias to a primary domain. So, for example, you might point careers.mycompany.com to vendor-platform-abc.com.
Right, for a job posting site or something?
Precisely. Now imagine 2 years later, you fire that vendor, you move your careers page back in-house, but you, or the vendor, you forget to delete that old CNAME record from your DNS settings.
So it's still out there, pointing to nothing.
It's still sitting there, dangling, pointing to an abandoned space on the internet. And an attacker can identify that, register, or claim that abandoned space on the old platform.
And now they're publishing malicious content from a subdomain of my company.
Exactly. Using your legitimate identity against your own customers.
That's terrifying. The reputation damage alone could be massive. Akamai's research, which the article cites, calls DNS hijacking one of the most effective and least visible forms of cybercrime.
It is, because it exploits trust at the infrastructure level. You often don't know you've been hit until customers start calling you, saying they got sent to a fake login page.
And by then, the damage is already done.
It is. The article breaks down the consequences very clearly. Once an attacker modifies even a single DNS record, they have several catastrophic options.
Okay, so let's walk through those. First, the obvious one, redirecting visitors.
Yes. They send your visitors to cloned websites to capture credentials or payment details. And because it happens at the infrastructure level, the victim sees login.yourbank.com in their browser, not some weird domain. The fraud is instantly harder to spot.
Second, hosting malware under your brand subdomain. So the malicious link now looks like download.yourcompany.com.
The trust factor is nearly absolute. And thirdly, the operational impact. This isn't just about public services. Modifying DNS can break access to internal cloud apps, and crucially, your voice over IP or VoIP services.
Your phones.
Your phones just stop working.
Imagine that. Your website is redirecting to a clone, you know you have a breach, and you can't even call your IT provider because your phones are completely dark.
It's a total control scenario, a complete operational shutdown. And finally, number 4 is the reputation damage if they use your domain in malicious campaigns. You get blacklisted, you lose customer faith. It could take months to recover.
And it's a hefty price to pay for convenience. So we've covered the crisis. How do we build a proactive shield? What's the plan?
This raises the big question for small business owners. How do you protect yourself without a massive IT department? The core message from Mr. Kaplan is non-negotiable. You must own your DNS. Treat it like a critical security asset.
Okay, the article gives a checklist, right? Let's start with action item 1.
Ownership. Keep the DNS registrar account, the place where you actually register and manage your domain under direct company ownership.
Never let a vendor register in their name.
Never. If that relationship goes sour, transferring control can be a nightmare. Owning the account means you always have the ultimate authority.
Okay, own it. Then what?
Action item 2. Use unique, strong credentials and absolutely mandate multi-factor authentication, or MFA, for those registrar logins. This is the non-negotiable tripwire.
So even if they steal a password from a vendor?
They still need that second factor, that code from your phone. The attack stops dead.
Got it. What about more technical protection?
Action item 3. Enable DNSSEC. That's Domain Name System Security Extensions. Think of it like a cryptographic seal on an envelope.
So it verifies the data is legitimate.
Exactly. It digitally signs your DNS data. It prevents spoofing attacks by ensuring that the address a user receives is mathematically verified as the one you published. It stops the attacker from lying about where your website lives.
Powerful. Okay, what about maintenance? Those dangling entries we talked about.
That's 4 and 5. You have to maintain a current inventory of all your DNS records. If you haven't looked at them in a year, you need to go look right now. And then audit your vendors. Make sure no dangling records from old services remain.
Clean out the old digital closets.
You have to. If you aren't using a service, that record must be deleted.
And finally, managing vendor access. If they need to make an update, how do we handle that securely without just handing over the keys?
This is the crucial policy step. limit delegation. Instead of full, permanent admin access, require vendors to request specific, temporary updates. Don't let them hold the keys to the entire infrastructure 24/7.
So what does this all mean? The takeaway is absolutely clear. Phishing has evolved far beyond suspicious links. It now exploits trusted infrastructure and vendor relationships.
That's the crux of it. Giving a third-party access to your DNS might be unknowingly giving them full control of your company's digital identity. It's a fundamental control point that has to be protected fiercely.
So if you're listening and you're unsure who manages your DNS right now, or whether your records are protected by MFA and DNS SEC, the article strongly suggests contacting CDML Computer Services for a digital presence assessment. They can help you identify these specific vulnerabilities.
And remember, new blog posts come out every Tuesday and Thursday. Visit https://cdml.com and subscribe to our blog to stay safe, informed, and compliant.
If you liked this deep dive and found these insights valuable, please click the thumbs up button. Till next time.